Robert De Niro's directional debut, A Bronx Tale, is an incredibly powerful crime film that isn't really talked about other than among hardcore film buffs. It deserves to be seen and heralded a lot more, and in this video we're going to discuss why. A Bronx Tale tells the story of a youngster named Calogero, played by Francis Capra when he's a young child, and Lilo Brancato when he's a teenager. Growing up in Belmont, a working class neighbourhood in the Bronx, he ends up torn between his father, Lorenzo, played by Robert De Niro, who is an honest working man, and a rich, ruthless gangster, Sonny, played by Chazz Palminteri, who befriends him and tries to introduce him to the gangster lifestyle from an early age. Calogero is torn between the hardworking, humble values instilled in him by his dad and the allure of the more glamorous and easy gangster life of Sonny. The movie discusses the contrast of the two worlds, and I appreciate the fact that the film doesn't just paint the gangster life as without merit or advantage. That's kind of the point. It makes it clear why this life would be attractive to Calogero, and that's so much more honest than just outright condemning it. We are of course shown that yes, Sonny is a criminal, but it's not black and white. He's not an objectively terrible person. He's capable of good. There's nuance and interesting shades of grey discussed in A Bronx Tale, just like in all iconic gangster films. The fact that he can walk the line of being a good person in some areas and a very bad one in others is what makes his character so interesting to watch.
You're always right. You're always right.
Yeah, I'm always right. If I was always right, I wouldn't have done 10 years in the joint.
What did you do every day?
There's only 3 things you can do in the joint, kid. Lift weights, play cards, or get into trouble.
What did you do?
Me? I read.
It's also what makes this lifestyle way more attractive than other criminal paths. Of course, gangsters are able to apparently still live a life where they are good to certain people and kind in some areas, but they end up compartmentalizing all the bad things they do and accepting that there are necessary evils they have to engage in. Of course, we all know that ultimately this is bad, it doesn't work, ends up obviously terrible morally for everyone involved, and gangster films are always able to show us why this is seductive, because in the short term it seems to work. So Calogero thinks to himself, well, if I take a few shortcuts, I'll have this pretty cool life. Every decision Calogero makes in The Bronx Tale holds incredible weight. It's about monumental life choices that not only change your circumstance, but you as a person too. A Bronx Tale is very relevant today, because we know that many young men around the world are struggling with their identity and wondering if rich influencers who claim to understand them are the people to follow. A Bronx Tale shows us this was always going on, way before the internet, social media and everything like that. The dangers of influence were still just as prevalent. It seems to have always been a universal struggle for young men. They have always been trying to make sense of themselves and the world. Ultimately, it seems the only solution to this trap that they find themselves in is for the individual to attempt to find their own identity. Despite all the conflicting influence and all they're getting told, they need to decide who they are and what they want to do, and learn that blind devotion to one figure is never the answer. Calogero must learn to take the good points from both his father and Sonny, and ultimately go his own way and learn to make decisions for himself. One of my favourite scenes is what has become known as the door test.
You pull her right where she is, right? Before you get out of the car, you lock both doors. Then you get out of the car, you walk over to her. You bring her over to the car. You take out the key, put in the lock, open the door for her. Then you let her get in. Then you close the door for her. Then you walk around the back of the car and you look through the rear window. If she doesn't reach over and lift up that button for you so you can get in, dump her.
It gives him this sense of father-like wisdom and allows us to realise that Sonny could indeed be a good father despite his life choices, as he knows about relationships and respect and has a lot to teach Calogero that would actually be worthwhile, not just how to be a criminal. When the door test goes on to actually work, Calogero is given more reason to admire Sonny, as he is giving him good advice when he needs it, and it actually works. Also love the craps game scene in which a very young Calogero witnesses some high stakes gambling. This is such a crazy moment because a young boy is seeing much more than he should, and he should never be exposed to this world at this age, yet Sonny seems to have no problem with it at all, even encouraging and enjoying it. It's a perfect example of the different worlds Calogero's two father figures are from. To Lorenzo, this is despicable and immoral. To Sonny, this is father and son bonding and sharing an experience with him. This scene also serves as a turning point for Calogero's life. as from this point onward, his involvement in Sonny's world begins to develop. Calogero's fascination with gambling after this game shows that the choices adults make around children can shape them forever, and therefore this irresponsible small decision that Sonny took actually had a monumental impact on Calogero. The performances in A Bronx Tale are fantastic. There's so much raw emotion in so many moments. Chazz Palminteri's ability to switch between charm and menace keeps you on edge throughout.
Is it better to be loved or feared?
That's a good question. It's nice to be both, but it's very difficult. But if I had my choice, I would rather be feared.
De Niro's Lorenzo is a different role than what we expected from him in the 80s and 90s, and as always De Niro shows us why he's one of the true greats. We usually know him as a dangerous gangster. Here he's a well-meaning, down-to-earth guy with real, genuine convictions and morals, and De Niro nails it. It's great to see him as a genuinely good person. The emotional scenes between him and Francis Capra are perfect. De Niro's facial expressions and delivery really hit hard. You can truly feel to his core this father's inner turmoil and worry. It's written all over his face that he is tearing his hair out thinking about losing his son. When he talks honestly to his son, he does it in such a powerful and passionate way. He unleashes pearls of wisdom, and it's a great example of how the regular working man may not have money or power, but they have so much life experience and morality to offer.
It don't take much strength to pull a trigger, but try and get up every morning, day after day, and work for a living. Let's see him try that. Then we'll see who's the real tough guy. The working man is the tough guy. Your father's the tough guy.
But everybody loves him, just like everybody loves you on the bus. It's the same thing.
No, it's not the same. People don't love him. They fear him. There's a difference.
This film vividly portrays the lively and vibrant streets of the Bronx, fully capturing the essence of the time and place. The strong clash between the working class neighbourhoods and the criminal underworld creates such a bubbling tension beneath the surface all the way through the movie. There's a real urban, realistic, ground level feeling running throughout, and everything and everyone is so believable. And the whole town is engulfed in this real pressure cooker atmosphere. Of course, there's another thing to give De Niro credit for, as the legendary actor was behind the camera, and his directorial efforts produced a film that is incredibly authentic and real. And there's so much beauty and style to it, the film breathes. He seems to be keying into the close-ups that made a lot of his gangster films he was in so memorable, and also the idea of showing violence but not making it the centrepiece. Instead, humanity is what is focused on, and the storytelling is very novelistic and epic. The time we spend with Calogero, Lorenzo and Sonny allows us to know them inside out, and we know them at different life stages. How their viewpoints change, how they soften, how they harden or double down or reconsider, how events shape them. There's an incredible sense of the journey of life and the lessons we go through every day resonating. I'd say this is one of the closest crime films to Sergio Leone's colossal masterpiece Once Upon a Time in America, just in the way that De Niro approaches the direction. He makes his focus bittersweet feelings and hard-hitting moments that will change the way you think. In a lot of ways it's a very different film narratively, but I feel like just the vibe and what he was going for has a very Leone style to it. Just the slow pace and the gradual development of this film getting underneath your skin. This film is so underappreciated. We hear about Goodfellas, we hear about Once Upon a Time in America, The Godfather, all these gangster films. We don't really hear about Bronx Tale, and it's a stunning piece of work that deserves to be seen, and it's a colossal achievement for Robert De Niro in his debut directorial effort. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Please consider subscribing. I do these sorts of videos all the time on this channel, talking about these sorts of films, classic films, gangster films, and why not click on another video on the screen now to see me talk about one of those films. But thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you guys next time.